Like I said, my name is Mr. Vaughn, and I like to say I'm a little bit of a figurehead. No, not that much, I'm just joking. I'm just a proud member of this music community, and I'm glad to see so many people came out to support today. Today is a very important event in building this music community and building a tight-knit music community. I'm glad to see so many different artists came out, so many different artists from different genres and different music came out to meet each other, because that's what it's about. Let me speak a little bit about networking in this community a little bit, because for me, like I said, as a hip-hop artist, there's a lot of preconceived notions that people have about me as a hip-hop artist before if they've never seen me perform, or you know what I'm saying. So for me to come into the community, I was introduced to Raymond, Hayden from Maurice Records, and a lot of the people in that community. And some of them were very skeptical, but then as they got to know me as a person, and as they got to know my music and see how I perform and everything, they accepted me just like family. And that's what I really want to push, that's what I really want to focus on tonight, is building this music community. Because as much as these struggles out here, and as much as people say, oh, we can't do this and we can't do that, if we work together as a community and continue to support each other, you guys should know that there's nothing we can't do. There was, if you look back 15, 20 years ago, there was not really any sense of community when it came to music. There was a lot of artists, there was a lot of bands, but there wasn't a music community. You know what I'm saying? There was so much separation. But with the help of people like Louis G, and with the help of people like Raymond and Maurice Records, and Dano out at Jazz Bones, and everybody, all the artists who have brought the sense of community back into this music scene, is the reason why we have things like this. The reason why we're able to put on awesome shows here at Louis G's and at Jazz Bones and everywhere else in Tacoma, building the bridge between Tacoma and Seattle and Tacoma and Olympia. Because of the community that we've started to build and that we've built over these last couple of years, things have really come a long way. And a lot of the people in this room are responsible for that, and they've had a big hand in that. If you're here tonight, you are a part of the music community, and your voice matters.
How about a hand for Ray Hayden, you guys?
Thank you. Same songwriters in Seattle. Chris started that with a couple other guys, right? Basically, Chris and I want to get here. We came up with the idea of a CD swap meet, which is basically you show up, you bring your CD, and you swap it. It's that difficult.
This is amazing!
This is amazing. But the power tonight is in getting to meet each other. A lot of us have the same struggles. It's a tough music industry. Getting shows, getting press, getting media, all that stuff. It's extremely difficult. I just want to say thanks again for showing up. There's a lot of people who couldn't be here tonight. Obviously, you can share with them. But when I look around the room, I see rock, I see R&B, I see some faces I've never seen. Whether you guys know it or not, there's some promoters in the house. There's some local, very famous photographers. We have 3 writers. Has everyone heard of Seattle Wave Radio? Everyone's heard? Excellent. There's 3 writers here tonight. With that, Chris Klemecki, songwriters in Seattle.
Thank you, Ray. Thanks, you guys. Really appreciate you guys allowing me to come up here and say a few words. I love events like this. It's one of the reasons that I have been so motivated with songwriters in Seattle. We do about 10 events of various types every month. And the networking, the collaboration events where the talent just gets together and is either creative or talks about the music business, talks about where they're going, what they want to do, what their goals are. That is incredibly inspiring to me, and just the amount of talent that I see in this room is fantastic. It's one of the reasons that I love doing this. I want to share my sort of larger vision for why we are here. I know Ray talks a lot about why, and that it provides motivation, it provides sort of goals or inspiration for goals. And I do think it's important to have a longer term why, a bigger vision for where you're going and why we're doing what we're doing. And as Mr. Vaughn said, things have changed. Things have changed not just in this community, but in the entire music industry in the last 10 to 20 years, obviously. For the better part of 100 years, or the better part of the 20th century. Record labels, major record labels, really ruled the industry. They picked the winners, they picked the talent, they were the economic driving factor for the music industry, and there was enough money in the music industry to support that. Infrastructure for artist development. If, you know, the band sort of competed for attention from a label, and if you got noticed for whatever reason, or picked out of the crowd, or whatever the reason was, and you got signed, you know, that wasn't the end of the road, right? For most artists, that was the beginning of the road. That was artist development deal. They would sign maybe, you know, for who knows, you know, 5 to 7 records even. The record label would have the infrastructure again in place for the business part. They'd have their promoters, their lawyers, managers, etc. They'd have the tours that they could set up and plug you into other artists, to other collaborators to help you write music and develop as an artist in that way. But nonetheless, for artists, they had a chance, right? If you got signed, you had an opportunity. And to that extent, it was a fairly large net. It probably didn't seem like it at the time to a lot of artists. It didn't seem like a large net. But in comparison today, moving fast forward, to where that infrastructure is basically gone. You know, there's a few holdouts here and there, but that structure is basically gone for artist development. That net, from that perspective, is incredibly small, right? Very few people are signing to major labels, because major labels will only sign people who are already successful, right? There's no investment in artists to grow them, to develop them, and to sort of wait it out, make the investment, support them until they're successful, and then you know, reap the rewards from that. It is up to us on our own as artists to develop, which I think brings us to one of the great ironies, if you will, about the current situation, which is, as a do-it-yourself industry, right? As a do-it-yourself artist development, the support we get is actually from each other. The infrastructure that is absent, that we can build, that we are building, is from each other, okay? We are actually constructing through our momentum, through the thought leaders here. It's not just Ray and I. Everyone who came here understands at least the importance of community and what we can do. You take it out there and we create momentum, we create snowball effects. The competition is really gone. There's no more sort of vying for mommy and daddy's attention on the label to saying fund us, right? That's gone. People do still have the illusion that happens, but it's really gone in terms of artist development and getting an opportunity that way. And so what it comes down to is artists, fans, venues, right? These are things that we all have in common. We all share, right? The relationship between a fan and a musician and an artist is not monogamous, right? You're not going to lose anything by someone being a fan of another band, right? It's actually really important that artists understand that, so that you share your fans, you know? Who knows a fan who only likes one band in the world? So we help each other, we help ourselves. It's what makes the community work, it's what makes this work, it's what makes there be a lot of power in what we're trying to do here and in what we're building. Patience, perseverance, you know, these are things that are sometimes really difficult. But I want to relate at least one story that has really inspired me in the last year or so in terms of patience and perseverance, and that's the story of my friend Michael Wansley. Most of you know him as Wands from Macklemore, the singer on Thrift Shop. Wands, just 2 years ago, would have loved coming to a meeting like this. Like, he would have been here, right? He was one of the, I won't call him necessarily a founding member of Songwriters in Seattle, but he was there early on. He was a leader who helped. When we were meeting at the Alibi Room in Pike's Place, you know, he'd come by, he'd come to business meetings at my house where we'd talk about the music industry. He was no different than any of you artists in this room right now. The difference was, he had been in the Seattle scene for 35 years, maybe more. The guy had been around a long, long time. But you know what? He didn't have a chip on his shoulder. He was a super nice guy. He would come to meetings He would go to any community event. He would meet people. He would trade songs. He would share stories and his information. And guess what? It was his network that broke him, right? One night, someone said, I need a guy who does this and this at the studio. And someone said, I know a guy who can do that and that. And you never know when those opportunities will come up, right? Through your network, by just doing what you love. And at some point with Juan's, it wasn't even about patience anymore, right? He was just doing what he loved, and he felt that the music community was important. And I think that's a mindset that we can all model in terms of, you know, again, not having a chip on your shoulder for time passing you by, or feeling like you've lost out on opportunities, or, you know, something's not happening for me. Like, just make your music, do what you love, meet people, meet other talent, get out, do projects, do what you can, help build the community, and the community will help you back. I think there's something here. There's something in Seattle. We certainly have our challenges, but it's a good challenge. It's with good people and talent that works hard, that understands, that goes out and speaks on behalf of the community. I get way too many emails from artists, usually anonymous artists, to be fair, not people I already know and have shaken hands with. But if you want to find my email trash as fast as possible, send me an email that says, hey, like your stuff, follow me, check out my stuff, come to my show next Saturday, and, you know, right? Don't be self-serving in your contact. Be genuine. That's why I say, you know, pick the music that you like, right? Again, you don't have to like everything, but pick the ones that you like, and be genuine about your compliments. Be genuine about trying to make something work with another artist. I think that's where you make really good connections, where you share fans, where you can actually make a difference in your career and expand your network in a meaningful way, and not just a Facebook like. We all want opportunities to be successful in music, and I feel like that's how we do it, is by building a community that has earnest connections, genuine love and respect, and that supports each other and makes things happen. So let's make it happen, guys. Thank you.
Why we're here as artists is because we love what we do, we don't have a choice. Why are we here tonight? We need to unite the various music communities. There's a lot going on in Tacoma, Seattle, Olympia, all over the place. We need to unite everyone. It starts here. We need to combine our efforts as artists. If you look around the room, what is there, 50 people here, whatever? If even half of you listened to a couple of songs of the CDs you got tonight and Facebooked, hey, I just heard this great new song by Blue Helix. It's great. I've never heard of these guys. Or Torre. Or Tin Man. Do you realize the impact of that? It's going to exponentially let people know that there's stuff going on in the music community. And if the music community is not strong, then our value goes down. We're here to strengthen relationships between artists, venues, and media. We've got 3 bloggers here. We've got promoters here. If you think that your band is good enough to play on a stage like this, do you have any idea how much money this man has put into this stage? Anybody have any idea how much money this man has put into this stage? If you think you can bring a lot, if you are willing to work and bust ass and network, maybe there's a band in this room that you can network with. Torre, you guys are becoming a veteran band. Maybe you talk to these guys over here. You guys put a show together, give Lou your CDs and say, hey, we are going to bring people. We are going to respect the stage that you've put money on. If you can do that, that's why we're here tonight. If the shows are great, people expect great shows, and they will pay for them. We're here to meet like-minded artists. Everybody here, if you're here, you're a like-minded artist, meaning you want to grow your brand, you want to play. You are businessmen and businesswomen, which means you don't just put up a Facebook flyer. You contact every friend, every person you know, you let them know that there's a great show, whether it's Louis, whether it's Jazz Bones, it doesn't matter. But you promote it. You do everything. Every avenue that you have, every email, every person you know, you let them know. If you got to show up on a street corner and do, street teaming, whatever, that's what the music industry is all about. Our intention was simple. We want to get as many musicians as we can to open their minds to the fact that they've got to try harder. They've got to set that bar. But it's not as simple as putting a flyer up on Facebook. Thank you, Lala. Yeah.
Say that again!
It is not as simple as putting a flyer up on Facebook. You need to think outside the box. You guys, the music industry is difficult. But guess what? If you put a little bit of effort into it, put the same effort you put into a day job, you're going to make a difference. When you guys do a show, you guys right here, young man, beard guy, okay? Don't just wait around. Seriously, don't just wait around for somebody else to put a show together and you hope they ask you to play it. Reach down, I'm being graphic, but reach down, grab your balls and say, you know what, we are good enough. Let's put a show together, let's reach out, then go to Louis and say, hey, guess what? We got a killer show. We're gonna bring 100 people.
These guys had a CD release. They put a bunch of tickets in envelopes that they made instead of free concert. And I believe 99% of those 150 tickets that they did on their own effort showed up.
There you go. The music industry is changing, and if you don't like it, get the F out. Right? I told you I was going to be brutal. Guys, I'm 47 years old. I want everyone in this room to be successful. You have the opportunity, if you take a breath, step back, and remind yourself, like Chris said, why? Why do we do what we do? Does anybody here think that the industry cares about you? Anyone? They don't. They don't. They don't give a shit about you. Sorry. I know there's youngsters in here, but they don't. It's the brutal reality of things. There's still hope. They don't. The industry doesn't care about you. There's more smoke and mirrors than any I could have ever even guessed there was. They want to mold you into something you're not. They smile to your face and they steal from you. You gotta read those contracts. They smile to your face and they talk behind your backs. If you know these things, we empower ourselves by the things we know. I'm here to tell you that if you listen to what Chris and I have to say, it may sound depressing, but you know what? Business is business. And the music business is tough. It's changing. It's changing week to week. If your passion for what you do is truly something that you can't fight, right? You guys just want to play, right? Is anyone going to stop you? What if I heard your CD and told you it sounded like shit?
I have some choice words.
Nice. Good. It's honesty. What I want you guys to walk away from Chris and I tonight is I want you to walk away, with the reality that the music industry is tough. The music industry does not care about you, but the community that is the infrastructure of the music industry does care about you. The music industry may be what it be, but if we all unite together, we go support each other's shows, we listen, and we continue to support each other, we can make change. We can affect change. All those negative things I said, those are reality, guys. Those are reality. There's a lot of people having success, but the reality is it's tough. So, what's the bright side of things? Come to more events like this. Put more effort, like these guys right here, into your shows. Come up with things that are outside the box. Make people pay attention to you. You have to be so good with technology and everything else. But you have to be so good that people can't ignore you. Does anyone disagree with that?
No.
Anyway, real quick, let me thank Ted Brown Music, Louis G, of course, NWCZ Radio, Seattle Wave Radio, Sweatbox Entertainment, Flat Hat Productions, Corbinic Design, Bill Bungard Photography, Mr. Vaughn, Chris Klemecki, songwriters in Seattle, my brother, Maurice Fish Records, and we put this event on to, once again, I know we're being redundant, but to unite the community. The only thing that separates us is geographical constraints. More than anything, I want to reiterate what Chris said, that we appreciate you guys being here. The young bands, the old bands, the R&B, the hip-hop, the Americana, the rock, country. doesn't matter what the genre is. And everybody, tomorrow, get on Facebook. Talk about how great the approach was, and talk about the power of the words they heard tonight. Can everybody do that tomorrow? Get on Facebook and talk about what everyone missed. I'm not great at math. There looks like to be about 60 people. You know, if you do that, it's important. I know Chris and I both had kind of a different approach to what we had to say, but know that everything we had to say was all about why. Why you do what you do. If you understand that, right, Chris? You're gonna empower yourself. I do want to see change. I do want to see the music industry, this whole thing about the music industry not caring, I want to see that change. We can do that. Starts with tonight, starts with tomorrow. Take it to heart. It's all good, man. It's all good. All it means is tomorrow is another day and you have to work a little harder. That's all it is.